Welcome everyone. Today we travel back to one of history's most dramatic moments. The year is 1453, and the greatest city in the Christian world is about to fall. This is the story of Constantinople, the city that stood for over 1,000 years, and the empire that ended in fire and smoke. Close your eyes and imagine Constantinople in early 1453. Massive stone walls rise 40 feet high, protecting a city of magnificent churches and palaces. The morning sun reflects off golden domes and marble columns. For 1,100 years, these walls have protected the heart of the Byzantine Empire. No enemy has ever broken through them. But something is different this spring. Outside the walls, an enormous army is gathering. 80,000 Ottoman soldiers are setting up camp, and their young sultan has a dream. Sultan Mehmed II is only 21 years old, but he wants to achieve what no other Muslim ruler has done. He wants to conquer Constantinople. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine stands on the walls, looking at the enemy forces. His heart is heavy with worry. He has only 7,000 soldiers to defend the entire city. He knows that messengers have been sent to Western Europe, begging for help. But will help arrive in time? The emperor touches the cold stone of the ancient walls and whispers a prayer. The siege begins on April 6, 1453. The sound of drums fills the air as Ottoman soldiers move into position. Then comes a noise that shakes the ground itself. Mehmed has brought the largest cannon ever built. This monster weapon is 27 feet long and can fire stone balls weighing over half a ton. When it fires, the sound can be heard for miles. Day after day, the great cannon pounds the walls. Each shot sends chunks of stone flying through the air. The defenders work frantically every night, trying to repair the damage. Women and children carry stones and mix mortar. Old men and young boys stand guard on the walls. Everyone knows their survival depends on these ancient defenses. But Mehmed is clever and patient. He tries different strategies. His engineers dig tunnels under the walls, trying to collapse them from below. Byzantine defenders dig their own tunnels to stop them. Underground, in the darkness, soldiers fight desperate battles that no one above can see. The clash of swords echoes through the narrow passages. The Sultan also brings his navy into the fight. But there is a problem. The Byzantines have stretched a massive chain across the Golden Horn, the harbor that protects one side of the city. Ottoman ships cannot get past this barrier. So Mehmed does something incredible. He builds a wooden road over the hills and pulls his ships overland, around the chain. Imagine the surprise of the defenders when they wake up one morning to see enemy ships floating in their protected harbor. Weeks pass, and the situation becomes desperate inside Constantinople. Food is running low. People are exhausted from constant fighting and repair work. In the great church of Hagia Sophia, citizens gather to pray. The sound of their hymns mixes with the distant boom of cannons. Mothers hold their children close. Old men remember better days when the empire was strong and proud. Emperor Constantine calls his commanders together in the palace. The room is lit by flickering candles. Everyone can see the determination in the emperor's eyes, but also the sadness. He knows the end is coming. Still, he speaks with courage. He reminds them that they are defending not just a city, but a civilization. They are the last Romans, the descendants of Caesar and Augustus. Mehmed also speaks to his soldiers. He promises them 3 days of looting if they capture the city. This is the custom of the time, though it seems cruel to us today. He tells them they will be remembered forever as the conquerors of Constantinople. The young sultan's eyes burn with ambition. This battle will define his entire life. On May 28, the final day before the assault, something strange happens. An eerie calm falls over both armies. Inside the city, Constantine leads a final prayer service in Hagia Sophia. Christians of different denominations pray together, forgetting their old arguments. Outside, Ottoman soldiers sharpen their swords and check their armor. Everyone knows tomorrow will decide everything. That night, few people sleep. The defenders stand on the walls, looking at thousands of enemy campfires glowing in the darkness. Some men write final letters to their families. Others simply stare at the stars, thinking about their lives. In the Ottoman camp, soldiers talk quietly about the battle ahead. Fear and excitement mix together. Just after midnight on May 29, the attack begins. War drums thunder in the darkness. Thousands of voices cry out as the first wave of Ottoman soldiers rushes toward the walls. Arrows fill the sky like deadly rain. The defenders pour boiling oil down on the attackers. The smell of smoke and blood fills the air. Wave after wave of attackers comes forward. The Ottomans use their less experienced soldiers first, wearing down the defenders. Then come the better troops. Finally, Mehmed sends in his elite forces, the Janissaries. These are his best warriors, trained from childhood for battle. They wear distinctive white caps and carry the finest weapons. Somewhere in the chaos, disaster strikes the defenders. A small gate called the Kirkaporta has been left unlocked by mistake. Some Ottoman soldiers discover it and rush through. At almost the same time, a Genoese commander named Giovanni Giustiniani, who has been leading the defense, is badly wounded. He is carried from the walls, and his soldiers panic when they see their leader bleeding. Emperor Constantine sees that the end has come. According to legend, he tears off his imperial purple robes so the enemy will not recognize him. He draws his sword and rushes into the thick of battle, fighting as an ordinary soldier. No one knows exactly how he dies, but he is never seen again. The last Roman emperor disappears into the smoke and chaos of battle. By mid-morning, Ottoman flags fly from the walls of Constantinople. Mehmed rides his horse through the streets of the conquered city. He is now Mehmed the Conqueror, the Sultan who achieved the impossible. He goes to Hagia Sophia, the great church that has stood for nearly 1,000 years. He orders it converted into a mosque. The Christian Empire of Byzantium has ended. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves across Europe. For centuries, this city had been the shield protecting Christian Europe from invasion. Now that shield was broken. The news traveled slowly in those days, but when it arrived, people were devastated. In Rome, the Pope called for a new crusade, but it never happened. The world had changed. But this moment also pushed Europe in new directions. Byzantine scholars fled westward, bringing ancient Greek manuscripts with them. These texts helped fuel the Renaissance, the great rebirth of learning in Europe. Some historians say that the fall of Constantinople helped create the modern world. When one door closes, another opens. The conquest also changed trade routes. European merchants could no longer easily reach Asia through Ottoman lands. This pushed them to search for new routes by sea. Portuguese and Spanish sailors began exploring the oceans. Within 40 years, Columbus would discover America while looking for a new way to reach Asia. History moves in unexpected ways. Today, you can visit Istanbul, as Constantinople is now called. Hagia Sophia still stands, a museum that has been both church and mosque. The ancient walls, broken in places, still circle parts of the old city. If you walk along them and close your eyes, you can almost hear the echoes of that terrible day in 1453. This story teaches us important lessons about human nature. It shows us that nothing lasts forever, no matter how strong it seems. The Byzantine Empire thought its walls would always protect it. But walls can be broken, and empires can fall. This reminds us that even today, we cannot take our security for granted. We must always adapt and change with the times. We also see the power of determination and innovation. Mehmed was young, but he refused to accept that something was impossible. When the chain blocked his ships, he found another way. When the walls seemed too strong, he built bigger cannons. This reminds us that obstacles can be overcome with creativity and persistence. The story also shows us tragedy and courage. Emperor Constantine could have fled. He could have saved his own life. Instead, he chose to die fighting for his city and his people. The ordinary citizens who defended the walls, knowing they might die, showed incredible bravery. These are the moments when humans show what they are truly capable of. We must also think about the complexity of history. For Christians in 1453, this was a terrible disaster. For Muslims, it was a great victory. Today, we can look at it from both perspectives. We can honor the courage on both sides while also recognizing the suffering that war brings. History is rarely simple, with clear heroes and villains. The fall of Constantinople reminds us that civilizations rise and fall, but human culture continues. The knowledge preserved in Byzantine libraries was not lost. It moved to new places and inspired new generations. The beautiful art and architecture of Constantinople influenced Ottoman culture. Nothing truly ends, it transforms into something new. This moment in history also teaches us about the impact of technology. The giant cannons that Mehmed used changed warfare forever. Castles and walls that had protected people for centuries suddenly became vulnerable. This is similar to how technology changes our world today. Each new invention transforms what is possible and what is safe. We learn too about leadership in crisis. Both Constantine and Mehmed faced enormous pressure. One had to defend the impossible, the other had to achieve it. Both showed qualities of courage, even though they were enemies. Leadership means making hard choices and living with the consequences. Finally, this story reminds us that we are all part of a long chain of history. The people who stood on those walls in 1453 were real humans like us. They felt fear and hope, just as we do. They loved their families and their homes. When we study history, we are not just learning about the past. We are learning about ourselves and what it means to be human. The sun that set on Constantinople on May 29, 1453, marked the end of an era. But it also rose on a new world, full of changes and possibilities. That is the eternal rhythm of history. Empires fall, but humanity continues, always building, always hoping, always moving forward into an uncertain future.